Hello, hello, and welcome to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity Continuum Aeon Lunar Rocks. I am your story guide, Scott, and we have my lovely players here. We have Diane, missed not appearing on camera tonight, and thus she has a pretty overlay image playing Frankie.
Hello.
Playing Frankie. We have Nigel playing Bram. We have Murphy playing Hannah, and Puka playing Mycelian. How are you all doing tonight?
Great. How are you?
Fantastic. So, we are going to move the camera away from where it was, slightly back through time, to when you all had left your previous engagement after a few tense phone calls and conversations um, with Frankie's father back at the crash pad. Not too terribly long after you had all just sort of arrived and settled in, a black hopper, which is the closest thing the future has to an independent vehicle, arrives with several of your father's men, Frankie. These are
Oh
people
shit.
people you recognize and have no reason to doubt or be afraid of, and one of whom informs you that your father does need to see you alone.
Cool. Uh Frankie just sees them and just fuck. All right. And she's like, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
and
Also, if you need help.
they escort you onto the vehicle, and the vehicle makes its way away from this section of Luna. It actually makes its way away from Olympus proper itself. It exits out through one of the sort of uh, the commercial hatches that lead out onto the lunar surface, and floats a good maybe 40 minutes fast travel to your family's estate, for lack of a better term. It's essentially a small independent lunar facility located not too far from Olympus, but far enough away to be disconnected from things. And you land shortly, come in through sort of the secure entranceway, where and are led to sort of your father's room in this. It's not like it's a house in the middle of the in the middle of the lunar surface. It is kind of like a secure bunker, for probably would be the best way to describe it. But it does have living quarters for your father, for all of the family, and enough for a pretty competent but small security staff. So
Gotcha.
you were led there.
Is
Uh,
this like our normal place?
no, this is not your normal place.
Okay, I
Uh,
was I was confused, but all right, cool.
this is kind of, you've been here a couple of times. Like most of the times, it's just been like dad needs to get away, kind of
Gotcha.
things for like a little quiet vacation. And it does have like entertainment facilities, and there's like an area where you can go out and like moonwalk in a spacesuit. But there's been a few more tense times that you've come here without prior arrangement or notice. Uh, so you have a feeling that this is definitely a secure place. And you find him. He is in his room, at his desk, um, smoking a cigar and nursing a glass of whiskey, um, and just sort of deep in his thoughts when you come in.
Hey, Dad. Frankie kind of says awkwardly as she kind of comes in with the, yeah, I'm probably in trouble kind of feel to it, but she's trying to be optimistic.
And he puts his whiskey down and he motions over to a chair next to his, and he says, my sweet baby girl, I you've you've left me out of sorts, I have to say.
Apologies. Didn't mean to make you out of sorts.
So remember, not too terribly long ago, we had a conversation about how if you uh, got into certain kinds of trouble, that we would have to have a conversation about your lifestyle.
Yes.
I was ready to have that conversation. You know, I never thought I'd have to have this conversation with you. The people, the organizations that you've tread the threshold of with this phone thing, this signal that you talked about, these people scare me. If I ever had cause and need to take out the president, these are the people I would call, and they could do it.
I see.
They are deadly and powerful in ways that I don't truly understand. And they are very, very. They guard their secrets incredibly well. So I don't know how you've gotten their attention. I don't know how you've roused their awareness of you. But there's very little I can do now. And I don't know what we can do about this.
I mean, are they like gonna continue to come after me or something?
I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not. I've done what I can to contact the people who I can contact in their world to let them know that this was all a big misunderstanding or mistake. That you don't that you're not worth their time. But I know you've been getting up to stuff.
I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, there's no point in lying about it. Yeah, I get into shit.
And if they start looking into what you do, they may find your knowledge of them, small as though it may be, to be unacceptable. So I don't know if there's anything that we can do to fix this.
Well, I mean, not without trying to make more contact with them, which seems like the opposite of a good idea.
It most certainly is. And he checks something on his computer, and he says, "There's only one thing that I can think of. I've got something coming in from Earth. Should be here soon."
What what is it?
He checks his computer again and says, "It's all right. It's just arrived. It'll be here soon." And within a minute or so, um, a guy, someone of the staff brings in a case, and he sets it down and walks out of the room before your father even like acknowledges or touches the case. And then he goes and he picks it up, puts it on his desk, opens it, and he takes out a wooden small wooden box, like a thing that you would have a really expensive bottle of whiskey in, or something that looks artisan. And he puts it on, and he says, "This has been in our family since shortly after the First World War."
All right.
And he opens it up and turns it to you, and what you see is it's like a velvet interior. that has slots sort of carved into the material. 3 of which appear to have some very old but well polished and maintained golden coins in them. And there are 2 empty slots. And he says, these people are particular about the way they are paid for their services. And he takes one of the coins out of the box, holds it in his hand, and says, we've only had to spend 2 of these.
Dad, we don't need to spend that. We don't even know if this is that big of a deal.
He leans over, grabs your hand, and puts it in your palm.
She instinctually closes her hands around it. Dad.
If they come for you, then I can only hope that that'll get you out of whatever trouble this has caused.
Okay.
He kind of looks at the 2 remaining coins and says, I have no earthly idea of how we will ever be able to get more of these. But I cannot have you disappearing into the night. And who knows? Maybe they won't pay you any mind. And maybe you'll have need of them one day. I stopped understanding this world when the aberrants returned. I don't know what.
There's so much more going on with that.
And I'd rather not. I'd rather just do my business, you know.
Okay.
But if you're getting involved in all this crazy shit, then maybe that'll help you one day. Maybe it'll save your life. Maybe it'll help you do something great.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I really don't know what to say about this. Like,
Well,
like
don't say
the,
shit about it.
yeah, right, of course. But like, there's some shit going on, Dad. There's some shit going on.
Is there anything an old man who's set in his ways, who doesn't understand crazy psychic shit or fucking super monster gods stomping around can do for you?
No, not that I know of right now.
Well,
I mean, I got. There is just so much shit going on. And like part of me just wants to tell you everything, and then part of me also doesn't want to tell you everything because once you know, then it puts you in a different position.
believe me, I understand that.
But I want you to know that if you want to know, I will tell you. But I'm telling you, it may be better for you not to know right now.
I've lived long enough and I've seen enough to know that there are parts of this crazy world that I want nothing to do with. And it breaks my heart to know that I don't think that I can protect you from everything. You've gone too far afield.
But maybe I can protect you.
Don't you worry about me. I got plenty of people who owe me their lives and fear for theirs to handle that for
Yeah,
me.
but Dad, we're family.
We are. We are. I
And
mean,
I'm
hey,
going to try to keep you safe as best I can.
if if you see someone coming my way, I wouldn't say no to a layup from my sweet little girl.
Nah, I'd let you know if I heard anything like that. This is more like, how do you even, this is more like break your reality sort of information.
My reality is I'm pretty good with the way it is,
Yeah, I don't think you want this information.
All right,
But
well,
you're gonna love me no matter what, though, right?
of course. Of course. There's nothing you can do will make me not love you.
Alright, that makes me feel better.
All right, well, you're going to stay here tonight because I don't know. I have yet to hear back from certain sources, and
Mm-hmm.
what I do know is when they act quickly. So I want you here where I can protect you, at least for tonight.
Understood. Let me tell you about our new installment we're doing.
I'd
It's
love to
themed
hear
around
about it.
storybooks.
That
Uh,
sounds very autistic.
Frankie is to shift the conversation. She's gonna come over and closer to him and kind of like do like the sit next to him and like pull out her phone and give like a display of like their ideas and basically nerd out at him.
Uh huh.
Trying to do some sort of semblance of normalcy.
Sure. Yeah, and you have that moment, and the night passes without any super assassins showing up at your door.
I
Uh,
mean, that's a whole new thing now. Frankie's like super assassins that are probably all like her, and she's like, "Oh shit, no wonder they're so good at their fucking job."
mm-hmm. uh, and eventually, a transport does come, takes you back to Olympus, uh, and you can make your way back to the crash pad, where the rest of the group is, having had a night of their own. Uh, so,
Um,
so yeah, so late morning, you're able to head back there and meet back up with them.
does she have a secure like location to put the coin?
Um,
Like, could she have gotten some sort of like, I don't know, maybe like a subdermal implant of like this is just like a, you know how like some people have like, I got like the lock picks that are, stored like literally in my fingers because they're like in a
mm-hmm.
little like subdermal pocket. Could she
Yeah,
have something like that that's like she usually uses for like a stash?
I would say no. That's
Okay.
that sort of cybernetic enhancement
Oh, okay.
or biotech thing is pretty serious. So if we
Yeah.
haven't established that you have something like that now, however, that certainly could be something on her mind to
Okay.
get her hands on, and it's something you could acquire. It's just expensive and you have to undergo to a medical procedure.
Understood. Well, that's something I will look into later then. But she has it as secure as she can.
Okay.
You could go see Mice's surgeon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that would be fine. She kind of like comes in like awkwardly and like kind of like shuts the door behind her. Y'all, oh, that was a thing. Y'all okay?
We also had a thing.
I-
Tell us about yours. Everything all right? You look a little
Yeah.
shaken up.
Well, it's not every day that you're told basically a group of super assassins that are probably weird like you or you're now on their radar and they may come out and try to kill you and there's nothing that your very powerful father can do to save you other than give you some weird shit to hopefully bribe them with. So yeah, no, I had a perfectly fine time. It was
Lucky thing
great.
you're
We talked
also
about storybooks.
lucky
Is
thing
this
you're also
because you
super
messed with that
powerful and could be
phone?
an assassin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bram is like halfway to standing up when you walk through the door. Like he starts to say, but then like you start talking and you all watch as his face just goes through about 30 different emotions in the span of that little monologue. And then he
But
just kind of sits
all right
back
there?
down.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's perfectly fine, right? Like to have a super group of assassins that could literally take out the president if they wanted to be like, you're on their radar. That's normal, right? Like that's okay. Like I'm fine, right? Like
That old chestnut.
it's probably fine. Yeah, hopefully.
And I
I
pat
mean,
you on the shoulder.
yeah, it's probably fine, but I'm pretty sure if that phone is indicative of anything, they're probably like weird like me, and if they
They
find
might.
out that I'm weird like them, then I might be more on their radar, which makes me feel more uncomfortable because that's like awkward, and they may take umbrage with the fact that we know about them. So we should just not
Frankie,
talk
you
about
need to
them.
breathe now.
Or they might want to recruit you. You could also be a super assassin.
Uh,
Glass can be half full sometimes.
yeah, that's funny. No, I'm not nearly that violent.
Well,
About
Maybe-
halfway through Frankie's story, Mice has started animating it with the hollow rig just to practice for the show.
I imagine you have like scary like shadows on the wall to be the super
Yeah,
assassins.
With like a phone sort of spiraling in the middle and like light shooting out of
My
it.
greatest fear.
So,
So yeah, that was my night. Yeah. So please tell me your night was better than mine.
Oh well, we took a peek at Saturn with the help of you
What?
remember Marty, the clairvoyant, or clairsentient. I mean, well, yeah, because we were experimenting with the bang board some, and then things got out of hand. And anyway,
Why were you look? Wait, why? What? Why were you going to?
Well-
Why were you looking at Saturn? I want to go
yeah,
to
you went
Saturn.
with us, but well, we wanted to see if that thing was there, and there in fact was a space station right where you thought it would be, and it looks like and it was still active and doing stuff, but
Then
Yeah,
it
right.
noticed
Then we
us.
got- then they cuddle fished up, and then we couldn't see them anymore.
Oh,
we did get some stuff though. Got
you
you
know
a
how to
present.
contact them?
Unclear. Max, can you contact them?
You got me some. How did you get me something? They're in Saturn.
So whatever recording medium, we were able to download that bit of data stream onto Mice will just like happy. I'm not actually sure when your birthday is, but if it's within
Like-
the next
It's like in 3 weeks. It's fine.
perfect. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
So yeah, you hand over a little like audio player, and it is an audio clip. And when they play it, it sounds like someone is relaying things that they are seeing, and like it's being recorded, for record keeping. And it's a little confusing at first, but then you like remember a few things from the study session, the big ISRA study session about the chromatics, and you recognize that someone must be receiving information from that conflict, because they're describing like a force of humans and like fighting some chromatics, but there's also a second force of chromatics who are not fighting the humans. And then there is a description of some sort of ball of light that appears to be controlling the hostile force of chromatics, and like giving it orders and also fighting the humans. And there seems to be like a three-way conflict going on, before the message cuts off.
Whoa.
So
that
there's
was
that.
that was from there?
Yeah, you
Sort of.
intercepted that data stream,
Not
and
sure where
got
they
that
were
audio
sending it,
file.
but
That's where the message came from. Not sure if that's what was actually happening in that place, but that's where it came from.
I kind of got the idea that maybe they had their own clairsentient who was taking a peek at what was happening far away, and that was their description. But might be wrong on that. Not really sure.
There's
Whoa.
only one or possibly several ways to find out.
I don't know of any, but all right.
No, me neither. Just I'm sure they're out there. You know.
Are you just hoping to spark one of our imagination, like when you call someone a genius, they've got it when they say something innocuous?
Yeah, statistical probabilities, right? I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but
Do you think, not to like bring things back to a more dour subject, but you said this is the place where other folks who do the reality swapping thing like you. This was kind of their research facility. Was that right, Frankie?
I mean, that's where I found the message within the message. Yes. Was dealing with them. I don't know what that facility is, but
Fair enough.
I
Well,
figured it was more people like me because it was in the part of about weird people like me.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So this is for the group. So like, if you can change reality, or like, pull
Okay.
something from one reality into another, then you wouldn't have to like be there to cap a guy, You could just be all like, I'm gonna search the multiverse for a dude who's just gonna be there to cap the guy for me.
or search the multiverse for one where he's already dead and swap him out. That's what
Look,
I do.
yeah,
look,
you could do that.
you guys make it sound like I have like control over this shit. I don't.
Well,
It just sort
not
of
yet.
fucking happened. Okay?
Yeah, you're new at it.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's not like I can do the shit that you guys do. It's not like something I can like train and get better at. It's just a thing that happened once.
Oh, please. Everyone can get better at the things they're good at. It's like a fundamental rule of the cosmos.
Ugh.
You just
Well,
got to
it
figure
makes
out,
people really.
yeah, you just got to figure out what it is you do, Like, look, early on, like, I could, like, do some stuff, but I can't, I can do now, like, better and easier. Words sometimes don't happen. So,
Well put.
yeah, just you just gotta find out, like, gotta meditate or something. I know we can figure it out for you.
Like
We're with
I
you.
don't operate like that. I kind of like just do stuff on instinct. That's all I do. Like it just felt right to do it at the moment, so I did it. That's just how it works.
So we gotta put you in that same headspace, like flow. I've been reading a lot lately, like flow. We gotta help you find your flow.
I mean, if it's something you want to learn more about.
I'd rather not have my life threatened again for the sake of. I mean, no offense. I
We'll
very
take
much
turns.
want you to.
We'll find
Yeah.
a patsy.
I mean,
Maybe try the meditating thing.
well,
Mice then
that-
tries to picture Frankie meditating and just can't.
Wait, I'm fine, guys. Literally, I'm okay. Like, yeah, I had weird talk time with my dad, but like, he didn't want to, like, I offered if he wanted to know what the hell I was getting up to, but he doesn't, and that's okay because I think it's safer for him not to know. But like, I'm fine. Like, we need to focus on other stuff. Like, weird shit happens, I guess. I don't know. Shit.
I'll drop it after this, but just one more quick observation. You're worried these super assassins, as you put it, are people like you, except they can use that power to be super assassins, which means somebody could get good at it, which means you could get good at it maybe one day. And also, now, here's the days we have booked for the thing. When else do we need to do to start getting ready?
So much.
I mean, a lot of like the normal stuff, but I mean, we do need to make sure we have like all the invites out. I mean, especially if it's going to be like, where do we want our like the first show to be, because it's not really a concert so much as an installment where people come and, we're
Oh, well,
guides in it.
Well, yeah, we're still going to do it at the space. I mean, we've already got that kind of squared away with working with the who's it's.
Yeah.
The builders.
Mostly it's getting the invites out and any last minute adjustments we want to make.
Yeah, who do you want on the first round? Really is the question. Are you going to send out any special invites?
Well, obviously our benefactors, if they want to book those, we could do kind of a little preview show, but I think we're pretty much ready to unveil it, except for last minute adjustments. I just gotta pull out my stuff and start going over the finer details.
Didn't we promise tickets to what's her name who came with us to find the thing in that place?
Yeah, I'll send her.
At least be a little bit more specific.
No,
it's
the one with the hair. Yeah, she had hair in a backpack.
Mice, I swear to God.
No, it's the chick that came with us down
Nala.
where we got the phone.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
used the
Yeah.
name.
Nada.
Like, I was with
Names
you,
are
Mike. I know who you were
meaningless.
talking about.
I know who you were talking about.
Sometimes the wavelength align.
And sometimes you need to come down from Cloud Cuckoo Land.
I'm
I
like the
understood.
sea.
You trying
Not
to get
that-
mice to come down from Cloud Cuckoo Land?
Just maybe every once in a while, you know? Maybe
So, do
do
you
them
know
some
anything
good.
about like subdermal implants?
What?
Well,
You gonna start smuggling?
I mean,
I
like
mean, like,
this one, mice pops the multi-tool out of their wrist.
yeah, like
Every
that,
time that's gross.
like that, just like that. How much does
Yeah,
that
well,
run you?
I mean, out of character, frankly, I have no idea how much that would be.
I'd say probably the installation of that would probably be like a wealth to purchase.
It was a hand-me-down multi-tool. That's the trade-off.
Yeah, like I don't really need like a full multi-tool. I just want like a little pocket. It doesn't have to be very big.
Oh, like a magician would have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's easy. I mean, you can go see, you know, one of those surgeons that does, you could just open things up, maybe move things around a little bit, make a little space. Why do you need a skin pocket?
Please don't call it that. You.
Jeez.
That's what it is. I mean, that's
Because
Well, that
that's
doesn't mean you gotta call it that.
Yeah.
it's bribery. I need to. It's a subdermal pocket. Look.
Well, that doesn't help.
It's for me to hide the bribery on me for the super assassins if they come try to kill me.
What, like a credit chip?
Nah, like a coin. Like
What?
Coin.
old school gold coin.
Are they pirates?
What?
Yeah, it's what they like to be paid in. Why are we still talking about them? The more we talk about them, is the more likely they're going to come try to kick my face in. So let's stop talking about them. I just need a subdermal pocket.
I'll set you up with the. I'll find the card. I mean, it was a while ago now, but it's probably still,
Is he like
doing his thing.
Are they like legit?
Oh yeah.
Like...
Well, that one is.
Tell
the
you what,
one
I'll
that
find
did.
somebody. I'll find somebody.
I feel like I should just ask my dad.
Or that.
I'll start looking
But the one,
up, like, oh wait, who? I'll find the guy who installed my my radio.
Sure.
My skull radio.
Yeah, I mean, this would definitely be a path roll on someone's part.
It would probably be my path roll. I've got now 2 dots in my society. So 1 dot in society path, criminal organization.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And I would do I guess, would cunning work?
Sure.
Okay, so that is 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, thank God. 2 successes.
Okay, yeah,
Yay.
you're able to get in contact with the guy, and he's well versed in this sort of surgery to implant a pocket. Where would you want it on your body, Frankie?
Trying to think of probably actually on her belly.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty easy. There's plenty of space to work with there, and it's an outpatient procedure. You basically take an afternoon, and essentially a kind of a hyper sterilized like polyurethane pocket is implanted in your belly, with kind of a fingerprint scanner. That you can access and basically unlock it like that, and it just sort of has this little pouch just big enough to fit that little coin in.
Yep, that's perfect.
Just don't be like, oh, I'm hungry, and like pat, and then suddenly. coins fall out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Sonic! I guess that'd be
Mm-hmm.
rings.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, you guys have pretty much everything squared away for the show. Um, you got word of mouth building, so there's plenty of people who are excited for it. Um, as I said before, this one is going to be a lot less labor intensive. Like it's not so much a performance as it is like a curated experience that you don't necessarily all have to be all hands on deck to have it run. But there is something to be said for having a flashy premiere.
Exactly.
So how do you guys want to manage the premiere? What preparations are you trying to get anyone special to show up for it? What are your plans for the premiere?
Well, I'll have already as soon as we did our soft opening with our guest of honor Marty and a few other people, the ones who say it's okay, I start putting pictures on social media basically of kind of the experience and what they've added so far, and then put together like a little slideshow of an add to the story, and kind of put previews out there and try to
Mhm.
show off just a little that we got a big name at our first showing,
Yeah, they're down with
and
that.
other people are getting the chance to interact with their work. Um, yeah, Hannah definitely plans to be on the scene because I want to do a vibe curation.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
we'll
like-
go ahead and announce opening date.
Frankie's definitely going to be there.
Hype.
Yep.
Bram doesn't want to be there.
Fair.
Like, he is very curious about the art and wants to like do the whole bodyguard thing, but at the same time, like, there's going to be a non-zero number of former coworkers there, and he's not cool with spending more time with them than is necessary.
Okay, he doesn't have to be there. It's fine. Frankie's gonna
It's fine. I
have
just get
a.
kidnapped by terrible assassins. Whatever, it's all right.
It's fine. Frankie is actually gonna have a specific outfit for opening night, where she is going to be taking the role of Alice from like Alice in Wonderland, but in a more like from Grimm fairy tales sort of Alice. Madness Returns as well, kind of that kind of goth Alice.
Sure.
But that is going to be kind of her thing, and her the way she's, how they have like those people in the haunted houses that are like the spoofs where they look like regular people but they're in the group dispersed.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of going to be doing kind of that thing, where
Well, we did
she's-
have a thing where we had. I think that we were putting a little like, "Where's Frankie?" at some point. So that could
We
work.
did. We were like putting out into social media like you explicitly weren't at the soft launch for some mysterious reason.
Oh, okay, well that's
Just being
cool.
weird, doing some weird hype stuff, getting people curious.
But yeah,
And we'll
that's
put it.
her goal is to be a kind of almost like a tour guide, but not actually a tour guide.
More of a part of the installation.
Yes.
Cool.
And each time she does it, she's a different character from Alice in Wonderland.
Neat.
She's going to start as Alice and then probably do the White Rabbit and then probably the Caterpillar or the
I like to
Cheshire
imagine
Cat.
you'll end up as the Mad Hatter because you won't take off any hats in between. We'll just add the next characters.
That would be amazing.
Perfect.
So by the end, you'll have a majestic tower of hats.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, Mice. What about Mice? How's Mice preparing for the premiere?
Well, Mice is always up for a dress code, so although not changing it quite so frequently as Frankie, so Mice is going to invest in one of those Billy Porter tuxedo gowns, where it's like tuxedo up top, full ball gown at the bottom, except it's more like a rainbow mosaic rather than just black.
Cool.
It's like a power outfit,
Mhm. And I assume you're going to be there,
Jackson.
like fine tuning the holographics. And
Oh, yeah.
Like. Okay.
Mice probably doesn't leave the rig for like 36 hours before the show, just like constantly fine tuning and testing,
Cool.
because this is it. This is the big one.
Indeed. Okay. So yeah, what would Bram be doing on the night of the premiere if not going to the show?
That really is a good question.
I mean, you can pick up shifts at your new job whenever you want.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll occupy my time with shift work.
Okay. All right. So we will fast forward to the premiere, and
I do bring my bang board with me just in case.
you just have that squared away in the
I probably
area.
just always have a messenger bag with it.
Sounds good. I mean, it's a bulky piece of technology. I mean,
I probably always have a tech backpack with it.
There you go.
'Cause I love it.
So yeah, it's the night of the premiere. Yeah, Marty's there definitely. They want to be there for the premiere. You know, kind of the who's who of the bang scene is definitely there. Any if you guys had extended an invitation to Nala, she would be there as well. Although she definitely, like, when she accepts the invitation, she says we need to also talk.
Okay.
Get that a lot.
She also will extend an invite up to our people. Oh goodness, the other group we did that other show with.
Oh yeah, you should also invite.
Oh yeah, Rising Sion.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're actually there. They're part of the band crew. Like, premiere nights tend to be, you know, the people who are a part of the scene tend to congregate to premieres, just because of the nature of things.
Only true fans.
Yeah, the true fans. But you know, especially
Before we're cool.
especially that this is such a limited engagement. Like, there's not a lot of people who can go through it at a single time. So yeah, there's a good crowd of people. It's kind of like you kind of set up. It's kind of a haunted house in terms of like how it's run. You know, a limited number of people go through the experience at a time. So how would you guys arrange like the waiting area?
Spheres.
All right.
Oh.
Translucent spheres. Just, you know, waiting
also-
waiting orbs.
Like, also keep it themed with storybooks. Like, the waiting area is probably the spheres kind of probably come in and out, but they have like literally the books depicted on them where they can see the stories and
Or
basically
little
get
tableaus from fairy tales, perhaps in them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just kind of cycles through uh the big popular Grimm's fairy tale ones, but then she wants to throw in like every fifth one is like an obscure one. Like perhaps it's the folktale around the Rizulka, which is
The
like
juniper tree.
you know, stuff like that. Like the weird ones are thrown in there, and it's kind of like one of those they won't know it's a cycle because she's literally put one in for the entire time you're in the waiting room. So it's always something new if you're waiting, at least for that night.
Okay.
Mice could rig up like a little 360-degree projector that just like
Yeah.
different
And
pages and images kind of floating.
I was going to activate my mini frequencies edge while we're doing this to basically
Oh yes.
put a receptive and creative vibe out as much as I can.
Okay.
The other thing Frankie wants to do is she's going to work in Alice in Wonderland themes into the waiting room, basically of which character she's playing that night.
Okay. So, okay, we've got the waiting room defined, and here's how we're going to do this for this premiere night. We're going to switch places slightly. I am the first group. So I am in the waiting room. I'm seeing these spheres. You know, I'm about, you know, how many people at a time would you want going through this at a time?
8.
8 people? Yeah, so I am 8 people. And I am
Is that cool?
I am perusing your waiting area. I'm looking up. I'm kind of like familiarizing myself with all the fairy tales that you have available for me. And my little buzzer goes off that lets me know that it's time for my tour to the facility. What does the entranceway look like as I approach?
I imagine, unless somebody else has something.
Yeah, just feel free to
Go
all
for it.
tag in as you feel desire. You guys are narrating to me.
Forest.
I was gonna say we've probably set it up to look like a pair of trees making an archway, but then it's a door that kind of opens out into the actual performance space, and maybe we have like a projector or something, so you can't really see through until you actually go through. It just looks like forest.
Okay, so it's just like this deep like perception twisting forest imagery.
Yeah, kind of like when you see like projectors on fog.
Mm-hmm.
They do at haunted houses sometimes, where it looks like there's a surface, but you can just walk right through it.
Okay. So yeah, my group of people walk in, like they walk through the woods and I'm assuming they come to like a clearing in the woods. What do they see?
So probably the first part of the installment would be here. Diane's trying to remember what we decided how the rooms were going to be.
I knew that there was an element where they were supposed to add to the story that was already there. So
I
I
think
imagine.
Yeah.
More towards the center, though.
Okay.
Once upon a time. This should probably be the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good idea. Like once upon a time, and they're able to like pick or define who they are in the story. Are they a hero? Are they a villain? Are they a side character? Are they a and basically they do this by going up to that part on the and basically that tree that has the word, like all these branches are hanging down with all these different words to describe the different types of characters and stories, and they select who they are by going up and picking out that word.
Okay.
We have a couple of free spots and some chalk, so they can make their own.
Mhm.
But on that one, yeah, that's probably part of like Hannah's watching that to make sure they don't do anything profane,
Uh,
overly profane.
so
For our own edge.
I will split one person off from my group, and embody them, and I will say that uh, another aspiring bang artist, someone who is more known for their goose to bang projects. That's sort of their area of fortune. So a chef, a mixologist. She comes up and she picks from the leaf. She picks up the clever wallflower, and sort of like that imagery, that identity, sort of like comes off, and like she surrounds herself with it, and like holograms start to blend with her outfit to make her fit that role. And she starts looking around for the next place to go. What does she see?
A door opens.
Okay, and as other people are spinning off and going into other rooms, this one seems to be the only. She seems to be the only one who's found this particular door, and she kind of looks around, and she knocks on it.
The door doesn't open at first, but rather responds to her and says, "Who goes?"
She says she thinks for a moment, and she says, "I am but a traveler seeking strange sights."
Works for me. I'd say open the door for that. But
Well, of
Yeah.
course. The door ponders a moment and goes, "Well, I can see that you are ready, befitting an adventure. What kind of adventure do you want?"
She kind of like thinks for a second and says, "Geez, I didn't know how interactive this. How much of this creative project was going to be on my shoulders," and she like opens the door.
Okay. The door opens freely. Because she didn't pick a path, or what kind of story, then it would be randomly generated for her. Basically, her saying what kind of story she wants would have
pull up a-
generated the type of experience
I'm gonna pull
that
up a
they
quick
would have
random
wanted.
generator
Sure.
for a story hook.
Maybe something not too gory as the default. That would
Oh
be
no! Other random generator. Is it broken?
Cinderella.
Well, I've got an idea. So the door opens to a it's a corner of the room that the holo projector it works with what's already there to make it appear like a sandy beach.
Okay.
It's like the floor is painted yellow, the wall is painted like green gradient up to blue, and it's a beach, and there is like a almost like a old piece of playground equipment that's like a ship that's like docked on a small pier that attaches to nothing. It's just sort of jutting out of the sand.
Okay.
And of course, you can there is the wind that would come off the beach, the smell of the salt air. You can hear birds, seagulls cawing. Even feel one like a burst of air comes by their face. Almost like a seagull trying to snatch some sort of French fry from them. Which seems to be one of the most common memories of happening of these evil attack birds.
Nice.
I think they've manifested some kind of French fry.
Probably also because Mice was programming things. Probably there's also like sort of faint psychedelic patterns swirling through the sky and like some kind of weird ambient music in the back, like quiet but
Right.
ever present.
Okay. Then I will go up to the pier, and I will. I'll have the little toy boat on my side, but I'm going to go up to the edge of the pier at first, and I want to look down into the water, and try and she'll things like. She starts talking out loud because she gets that this thing responds to things. She's like, I've never seen the ocean. I've never seen water like this.
She hears a tiny voice pipe. This is Hannah cutting in. She hears a tiny voice pop up. Avast, landlubber! And if she looks down, she'll see some little mice in the toy boat. Little pirate swords.
She says, "Oh my!" And she says, "Is this your vessel?"
I'm not clever enough to come up with a cute pirate name off the cuff, but I imagine we would have already spun up some story ideas for this. So the mouse will give introduce itself with a flourish as the captain of the vessel of the Lazy Jane, and still brandishing a sword, asks her if she's friend or foe.
Oh, I am friendly to
She's
all.
come for our booty.
I'm friendly to all. I was going to explore your boat, if I have your permission.
There's a little scurrying and a little tiny squeaking of mouse voices together as he pokes his head into the below, and then a moment later, if you can find a way on, and gestures to welcome aboard.
At which point, Frankie would come in as Alice, kind of just appearing out of nowhere with a little tray of different types of foods and drinks that say "Eat me" and "Drink me." And she kind of comes on. She goes, "If you wish to go, perhaps a piece of cheese."
And she just kind of smiles and says, like, "Well, you can't go wrong with the classics." And she picks up a little little thing of cheese and says, "I'm really curious to how you're gonna make this one work," and pops it in her mouth.
As soon as she go for it.
No, go right ahead.
As soon as she pops it in her mouth, Mice starts frantically reprogramming the scale parameters of the boat and the ocean so that it she is now an appropriate size to board the boat.
Yeah, so the hologram shifts around and like it suddenly becomes much larger, and the mice grow up to become people size, But this is purely holographic at this point because
Yeah.
And she says, "Okay, I'm impressed," and she hops on the boat.
Gonna start doing moving water past the.
Does Alice follow her?
Alice has 7 other people to like.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask. If you were
Alice
going to go be guiding other people.
Yeah, Alice is
Okay.
in and out, so she's ducking into someone else's experience. Basically, what I feel is going on is she has like an earpiece where
Mhm.
you guys are feeding her and the crew is feeding her. Oh, they're doing this, that, and the other. We need you to
Yep.
go do this or that.
You should go drop a hint. Or come in with this.
Okay, so
It's kind of.
I'm on the boat, and she is. I am cavorting with the mice. I'm.
They do, in fact, decide to hold a party.
Of
They want you to be the
course.
guest of honor.
Yeah, like she's. I am starting to like. I'm participating in the party. I'm having fun with it, but I'm also like her brain. My brain is working to the degree of like, okay, this is pretty impressive holographic work, but it's still a hologram. I'm still in a room. Like she's gonna be like sneaking around the boat. Like when the mice like take a drink, she'll duck out and try and like get into another room.
Okay.
Oh, she's testing the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you would.
So as she steps around the boat, she actually it cycles back to what she said before. She wanted to explore the ocean. At which point, basically, kind of what she didn't realize what's happening as she was going through the boat and enjoying the party, she actually stepped into a different room, actual different room, where it progresses on where instead of simply being like
Ooh, I have something.
go ahead.
So that is what has happened. She has walked into this other room. It is all still styled holographically like the interior of a ship. But now it is a maze made out of like wood paneling. You'll like, it uses essentially just like a few small chambers that have been carefully put together with like temporary walls. But with enough holographics, you can go into one room, turn around, and go through another door and come into a totally different room. And it becomes like a maze for her to explore.
And each of these rooms has images and begins to because she didn't again pick her experience, begins to tell a tragic love story of basically a captain and a stowaway on the ship of a red-haired woman who is seen as classically bad luck, and begins a story begins to be told around her, and how she interacts with like the story will dictate where the story goes. Will it have a happy ending or a sad ending? Will it have, what's going to happen next? What's going on with these characters? Basically, how she reacts, the story will the images react to it. If she reacts in an interested way, then it will go more into like who they are. But if she doesn't, then it basically gets straight to the action, which is basically the crux of the issue is that uh, his crew wants her off the boat.
Okay. So yeah, she dives into this. She goes right up for the drama. She starts making trouble with everyone. She's like falling like each twist and turn in the maze is like another crewmate that she has to vex and get around.
We've probably programmed in some various, puzzles from I always tell a lie, I always tell the truth. Those kind of like classic storytell puzzles that people had to deal with, or Sphinx riddles and such. So she has different like this guy, you just have to punch him. This guy, confuse him with his own riddle. So she has like little kind of pre-programmed challenges that we're able to slot into the different scenes.
One of these
I
drinks is poisoned
also
with iocane powder.
that one of the rooms actually has a person in it
Mm-hmm.
who is in basically one of those suits that is primed for holographic input over the top of it, basically in a suit where you can basically depict what's going on, like what costume they're wearing.
Sure.
So one of them actually has a person in it.
Yeah,
Who they
that shocks her a little bit when it's just a little bit more interactive than she was waiting for. And yeah, she spends a good amount of time going through this maze, like vexing people, until she decides that she wants
Few
like
props she can pick up along the way, like a
Yeah.
toy sword and the like.
she gets to a point where she's like, okay, like her brain realizes, oh wait, I've been in the same room for a long time, and she like cries out, well, okay then, throw me off the ship. I don't want to be here.
Mice has been waiting for this, and like presses the button that just says flood, and like, you know.
Oh, if only I'd practiced more. This is my thing. Oh well.
Probably like, I mean, so she seems kind of impressed, but not really dazzled by the quality of the hollow art. So this feature, it's kind of like when Hannah was running the Museum Bang show, programming in not just the look of water, but like the sensation as the water is slowly, not in a way that it feels like you're drowning, but that you're actually surrounded by water and that you're underneath the surface.
Change the pressure of the room slightly in the air current.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of being in a slightly different place.
But then all the mer people and krakens start kind of showing up on the monitors or the projectors.
Yeah, and she starts like running away from them, and is like, you know, a bit of the immersion is definitely like kicked up a notch, and so she's like not in a full panic, but definitely like ready to move on, and like she's sort of scrambling for a way to find out of this like very immersive, very intense experience.
Mice is gonna insert a little like, I guess it almost looks like currents in the water that form letters that say "follow the music," and try and lead her towards another room where it's just like the classic like psychedelics, loud beats, dance party kind of thing. So trying to guide her towards that.
Okay. Yeah.
Boots and cats.
Boots and cats. So
yes,
okay.
I imagine that's probably the room where we kind of have everybody reconverge, and that's where the storybooks that they've kind of created. The pages will be like, obviously it won't be physical, but there'll be projections on the wall of their stories that were kind of generated around them.
Like images. So basically, as they all reconverge, what they start to see are roots, for lack of a better term, along the ground that kind of grow up into where our big central tree, where basically all the different things are hanging. And they can actually see that there are images of their experiences, kind of like in a storybook. But they notice that on the pages are blank. There's just the images that they've experienced. And Alice kind of comes back through with her tray, but on this time, there's not really food so much as pins and feathers and quills and colored pencils and crayons and the like for them to choose whatever they wish to write with. And basically, they are able to write on their story, they're able to write on someone else's story if they wish. Basically, they are able to now interact. And part of the experience is them telling their tales to the other people.
Cool. Yeah. And
I like that you mentioned the roots too, because it's like they're also part of Wonder Root. So.
Yeah, so my heroine will pick up her story, flip through it, add some embellishments, and then like swap it with the person that she came with, and so like they read each other's and look at each other's pictures.
And we have shelves kind of placed within the walls, within the roots themselves, little nooks for people to put their books as they add to the stories.
And then Frankie kind of is sitting off, kind of slightly to the side in a rocking chair, and on the floor is a big plush carpet of different, looks like mossy rocks and ground. And she's sitting in her rocking chair, looks basically like a tree. And she's kind of sitting there, and it says uh, on there, it's like story time at, and it doesn't have a time. She's just holding out her hands, waiting for someone to place their book in her hands. And then part of the installment, because right when she's here, is she will literally read one of their stories.
Yeah, and my my clever wallflower will once she's done, she will come up to you and hand you the book.
um Frankie kind of and Frankie then kind of animates. She was kind of being like almost like a statue, where you're not quite sure if it's actually her or a hologram to look like her for a moment, but then she actually starts to move and takes it, and you realize it's actually her sitting there. And she kind of like sets it, and she starts to read it, much like the little lady would at the library when you were a child. Story time with so and so, and reads their story, basically making all the different sounds for the voices, basically narrating it, adding in different embellishments, and basically when parts come, then the shy wallflower said this. She just kind of pauses and looks at her to say whatever she said, and then she continues on with the story, basically allowing the others to basically tell the story with her, basically become the different voices, and leads them
And,
in a narrative.
and we kind of, Mice and I probably are on top of adding effects and music as appropriate. When it's a dark and rainy night, I'll cue the thunderstorm effects and such.
Even when it's not appropriate. I mean,
Mhm.
Well, sometimes we just need a little, if the story seems like it's dragging.
Little
Yeah.
embellishments here and there. Okay. And so once story time is over, where does it go from there? Is that the end? Is that the climax, or is there a twist at the end?
I think the twist at the end is party. Now we
Okay.
party.
Yeah, I
I
think
feel like there should be some kind of mechanism that once the book is complete, like, I don't know if there's like a small, almost invisible piece of fishing line or something you can just hook it to and it rises up to dangle from the tree. And
Okay.
so by the end of the show, there'll be all of these books kind of hanging like fruit.
We print them a little card with the URI where they can see their book when they log on later.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They
get
had
an
a release
NFT.
saying that these would be available to all the public, of course. But yes, we're not selling it. We're not distributing NFTs. We don't want to ruin the moon like we ruined Earth.
Basically after story time is complete, they actually see a door lights up. Basically the curtains kind of move, like the vines of the curtain move to the side, and there's a door waiting for them.
All right. They all start to, once they've had their fill of the tree room and all the various stories that can be experienced there. Um, uh, I will file through that door.
Through that door, you actually walk into basically what most people would think of as the after party.
Mhm.
Everything is still themed for adventure and books and such, but it is very stereotypically high music. There's drinks to be had. There's refreshments to
Comfortable,
be
soft
had.
places to sit, some places to dance.
Correct. Now it is. This is the party mingle after party room.
Cool. And so yeah, and so that ends the experience. After maybe another
Yep.
20,
they can stay.
30 minutes. People have a little chill time.
Yep, and we'll actually let them stay in the party room as long as they want while we bring the next groups through. So if people want to stick around, the last room will continue to grow. But if they want, at that point, this is just kind of the wind down.
Yeah, I mean, people kind of like read the room of like, okay, this place is getting a little crowded, and like exit when it's appropriate, with very little prompting. And yeah, the groups start to file through the experience. The party room, fluctuates in size and intensity until we reach the end of the night when the last group is enjoying their final drinks, and it begins to be like near the end of the night. Uh, um, so there's maybe about a half dozen people left in the party room. One of them is Nala, she's there, she's drinking herself a drink, but like anyone who's like monitoring the feeds, there's clearly like, okay, she's waiting around to talk to like she's not engaging in party mode. She has the business look on her.
Yeah,
You're
we
back
put
at
on
me,
the
my
bang
dog
equivalent of
voucher.
closing time. Huh? Yeah,
Uh,
we'll put closing time to kind of clear folks out give folks the opportunity to clear out.
Yeah,
We're
it's
now ready
a
to clean up.
steady process.
We're probably very exhausted from how much, how
Oh.
how hands-on that was.
Mhm.
absolutely. Fucking Frankie's tired of shit. Frankie's also probably at this point getting wasted because why not? That's what she does.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
storytelling drone got mouthy.
Yeah, and you're as you guys are building up like data, like you're also like finding places where like, okay, we can automate this part of it. Like as the experience is racking up, and as like the agents that are running this thing are gathering data, like they're like, okay, we can replace this live actor with a hologram, and it'll have as much fidelity. So the machine learning is going on in the background. But yeah, so Nala's there at the party. Who is going to approach her, if anyone?
I will.
Okay.
I'll say it's Hannah's
Kind
friend.
of last. So, what'd you think?
Oh, pretty good. I mean, definitely, it's a lot different from most of the other bang I've been into.
I wanted to try something a little new and contemplative.
Yeah, I dig it. I dig it.
Thanks.
So, have you guys gone through that file yet?
I looked over to Frankie for that.
Have I had that opportunity yet?
You've gone over portions of it. I've been, you guys have had time. Yeah, you guys have gone through portions of it, but as of yet, I don't think anyone has done deep dive, particularly in the areas that she's been interested in.
We have not completed that yet. Mostly because of this. She points at the bang experience.
She kind of nods and says,
I had to honor our commitments,
"Yeah, yeah, I understand. I understand that entirely. It's just, we spent a lot of resources and, called in a lot of favors to find that place or that lead to that place, and we were expecting, something out of it. And I'm sure you guys have a good reputation in the bang scene, but and she kind of leaves that pregnant pause there.
Ellipsis.
I understand your impatience, and I hate to push it further, but again, we will need a little more time to make sure that what we have found is safe to release. Look, we obviously aren't, planning on ghosting on you, or we wouldn't have invited you out tonight and continued our friendship. So please have a little faith in us.
I'm glad to have gotten the invitation. I'm glad to hear what I'm hearing from you. It's just, not all of my friends are as patient and forbearing as I am. And I'm saying this, I'm not saying this intentionally as a threat, but some of them have scarier friends than others.
And it just kind of smiles a little at that. Tries to hide it.
Oh, Frankie's toasted. Frankie just laughs. She's fucking sure. Join the fucking club. Everyone's threatening me today. Sure, fuck you. Fucking shit, fine. Yeah, look, I'm on it. Shit, fuck. I'll just go home now and fucking go take a shower and try to sober the fuck up and go get the stupid shit done. Excuse me for trying to make some sort of fucking money so I can survive in this world. Like, Frankie is like 3 sheets to the wind toasted and like ranting, especially at the veiled threat, because Frankie's like, she just
Isn't
finds the whole
fine.
idea preposterous because she's already been threatened so much.
Mm-hmm.
But Frankie legitimately just stands up with her entire bottle of booze that she just carries with her as she starts walking slash kind of like tilting to the side as she's walking to the door. Like, fine, fuck it, I'll just go do it right.
Excuse me, Nala. I'm gonna make sure my friend doesn't walk in front of a tram.
That's
I'm
We'll be in touch soon. And I take my
fine.
leave.
I'm
I'm
fine.
out of here.
If they want the information, then fine, I'll just go do it right now. Fine. They can threaten me, sure. What else can threaten me? Big scary people, big cop people, big government people, scary people on a fucking red telephone. I don't fucking know. And she just
Mice is animating each of these as she says them.
nice.
oh, maybe it's big fucking
No,
scary
okay.
aberrants.
Kind of over my
Sure.
shoulder. I'm like, no, in case you can't tell, it's been a bit of a weird time since we parted ways.
I'm picking up on that.
Thus our concerns.
But fine. It's fine. It's not like I do anything else constructive with my life. I'm just a bang artist. And she's ranting as she's walking.
All right, Frankie, let's get some waffles in you. Come on.
And we will move away from this scene over to Bram's job, which has been a quiet night. There's been like 2 transfers. Like there's been some like boxes that have come through the rings, and a small party of people heading. Because the way these jump rings works is they're paired. So like there is another location that this goes to. It's not like a network of them.
Right.
And from what you can tell, it's something Earthside. Because just from the chatter of the people who come in through it. And it's getting pretty late. And there's like one other person here. Kind of everything that's been on the schedule has come through.
Okay.
So how has Bram been occupying his time in the interim of activating the rings?
At least trying. Sorry. At least try and make a little small talk. Depending on how that goes, continuing it or finding another way to
Okay.
occupy the time.
Okay. Give me a persuasion roll.
I will do. It doesn't really matter because they're 2 and everything, but I'll try presence persuasion. So
Sure.
3 dice. Ooh, that's a botch.
Yeah, you talked to a couple of people, like some of the people who were there, like picking up and loading the things, and maybe about an hour into your shift, the supervisor of it, just sort of like pulls you to the side and says, Bram, we really appreciate your work here, but some of the other employees are feeling a little bit uncomfortable with kind of how in their business you're trying to get. So maybe work on that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just trying to like be friendly, like saying hello to my new coworkers and stuff. But yeah, no, it's okay. I'll take it easy. Yeah, I can do that.
I will add some momentum to the tracker, by the way. It's like, all right, cool. So yeah, things go by. It's a little weird for the rest of the night, but you're the guy who can pump psi into this thing, so no one really like gets on your case about it. and about near the end of your shift, and like looking at your sort of event calendar, probably around the same time that the show is wrapping up, there is an unscheduled transfer request. Like someone on the other side is pressing the button.
I'll look over to the one guy who's left. Someone's trying to come through?
He kind of like looks over and says, like, there's nothing on the schedule.
Yeah, nothing on the schedule.
He pulls out his gun and says, go ahead and fire it up. We'll see, because it's someone that's, who knows. But he definitely has his gun out.
All right.
And you channel a bit of psi into the jump rings, and there's a flash and a slight change in the pressure of the room. And a man sort of like slumps over, clutching his side, where there appears to be a chunk missing from him. And we will cut there for our break. See you guys soon. All right, welcome back to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity, Continuum on Lunar Rocks High. How's it going? So when last we left, a very injured man had just been teleported into Bram's place of work in a warehouse somewhere in the shadier sections of Olympus. And yes, there just appears to be a chunk taken out of the midsection of this man. What are you doing?
I'm going to immediately shut the portal.
Yeah, I mean it's not something that stays open. It's a like burst transmission.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so you do not keep it open.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, he is on the ground. He appears to be like clutching his side. He also seems to have like something cradled in his arm. Your other coworker is just sort of standing in shock. Doesn't seem to be reacting well to what's happening.
I look to him and like snap my fingers and be like, "Hey, is it cool to call for an ambulance? Can an ambulance get here or not?"
We can call. Yeah, I mean, do you have? He kind of like gives you the look of, hey, aren't you psychic?
I walk up to him and give him a slap across the face.
Like,
answer my questions.
No, we're not supposed to have like the fucking cops or authorities show up on this place.
Who do you know who I can call?
I don't know. We were not supposed to, like, everything's supposed to be secure. Like, this doesn't happen.
Jesus Christ! Stay there, and I'll key my my cybernetic implant, and I will contact my contact. My Syad origin path is Mercy Malone. She is my an old friend of mine who was kind of my doc in a box.
Okay.
When shit hit the fan.
Make me a path roll.
Okay, I actually have 2 dots in that path. And I'm definitely gonna do cunning, so 4 dots in that. How much momentum do we have?
I don't think we've used any.
You have not
6.
used any, so you have 6 momentum.
Can
Go
I
for it.
use? Can I spend 3?
You can.
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. Tick, tick, tick. With 3 more dice. Oh, thank God. 1 success.
Okay, 1 success. You get
That had been a
unconscious.
botch.
Woo.
It was a very large dice
It
pool.
was a very large dice pool. Yeah, you. She picks up your contact and says, "Bram."
Hey, Malone, how you doing? I got a bit of an emergency situation on my hand. Dude's in need of some patchwork. Think you could get up to address here on the Jiffy? I'll make it worth your while.
She obviously is looking something up and is like, yeah, that's not too far away. I can be there in 20.
I kind of tow him. Is he conscious?
Oh no, he is absolutely passed out, and he is bleeding to death.
Right. Try and get here a little faster if you can. Again, I will compensate you. Gotta go. Have a lovely drive.
All right, well, pressure on the wound. Get it. You know the basics.
Yeah. Abdominal trauma, severe.
Stuff it with something.
All right. See you soon.
All right. So yeah, if you wish to have him be alive, for Mercy to show up, I am going to need a medicine roll from you.
Okay. I'll look over to the guy and be all like, if you got a med kit, if you got gauze, if you got fucking painkillers, find it now.
We've got a first aid kit, and he runs and gets it.
And yeah, I will make the sign of the cross, and then I will get down on my knees and try to at least staunch the bleeding.
Okay, now that's going to be a medicine roll.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna go with if I don't have a dot in a power, but I have that mode,
Mm-hmm.
can I push to acquire a dot? I want to try and cauterize this guy's wound.
Yes, you can. Yes, I will say that I'll allow it, but it will be at an additional +1 difficulty. So you would be basically rolling, because yeah, to push your powers, you have to spend additional psi between the difference of your actual dot in the mode and the mode dot of the power that you're trying to use. And then also it is a increased difficulty on that. I'm going to say that yes, you can do that at that plus difficulty. Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
So you would essentially be rolling psi at a pretty what mode dot power would we be trying to use?
That's a good question. It would probably be flash, because equilibrium is surviving intense heat or cold. Flash is flash freezing or flash frying something,
Okay.
creating an instant change of thermal energy.
Yeah, that would be what you would need to get.
Okay. So, let me. Stylistically, I feel like that's the cooler way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to try that. So what do I need to roll to first to push?
So you don't roll anything to push. It is just an increased difficulty on the power activation. So
Okay.
normally it's your psi plus mode. So if you don't have a dot in the mode, it's just going to be psi.
I mean, it's really
So,
yes.
am I able to affect the scene if I'm not in it?
Yes, depending on what, I will say that you can do so, but it will cost you additional inspiration to do so.
So could I spend 2 inspiration to basically have him be stable enough to survive until his friend gets there?
Yes, I will say that it would cost 2 inspiration to do that normally, so totally it would be 3 inspiration for you to make that for things to shift in such a way that he can be stabilized, or the wound wasn't as bad as it looked, or something along those lines.
Okay. And I think I currently have 5 inspiration because I have intuitive facet 4
Okay.
and destructive facet 1. So I will. Would that be
No, that I
5?
don't think that how that works. So you have a dot of inspiration for every facet that you have at 1 and at 3. So if you are at intuitive 4, destructive 1, is that what I'm?
Yes.
So you would have a dot of inspiration for destructive 1, a dot of inspiration for intuitive 1, and a dot of inspiration for intuitive 3.
So I would have 3 inspiration.
You would have 3 inspiration.
Mm.
How bad do you want this random guy to live?
Let me try a medicine roll first.
Sure.
All right.
And yeah, I'll just do straight cunning. And if I could have one more momentum.
Yep. Go for it.
One dice. So yeah, this is going to be a cunning medicine roll, but I've only got cunning.
Mm-hmm. I will give you a +1 enhancement for the first aid kit.
Okay. 1 success plus 1 enhancement. So
Okay.
2 successes.
Yeah, you are able to essentially stuff gauze and wrap it. It's still pretty bad, but you can, by keeping pressure on the wound and like getting more gauze in there when you can, you're able to at least keep this guy alive up until the point where Mercy shows up. And she shows up, and she has a much more extensive medical kit, and like pushes you over and start going to work on him. I will make a medicine roll for this lady. Does she have any tags as a contact that might be applicable here?
I was going to do so the Eon book, I love it, is not very descriptive when it comes to what tags contacts can have.
That is true.
So would something like nurse or medical practitioner be applicable?
I mean,
Or
that
be
would
more
sort of
generic?
describe her. Like, tags are more adjectives than contact tags are more adjectives than anything else. So
Then I would say resourceful, like kind of making do with what's on hand.
all right.
And resourceful and compassionate.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that gives her enough enhancement. She dives in. She applies her enhanced med kit, and with her tags, she is able to stabilize this guy. Like stop him from dying. Like, she has like a patch of like synth blood that she is able to get into him, so that he just doesn't go completely.
Now he has blood.
Now he has blood, and she does cauterize the area, and like bandages it and makes this guy stable. And like she's like, we haven't talked in a good long while, Bram. You sure as hell have found yourself what the hell?
A long story, and I give her like a little wave and show off my missing pinky.
She kind of like eyes go wide for a second. She's like, okay then.
I'll tell it all over you. I'll tell you the whole thing over coffee. This is bang up work as always.
Well, he definitely needs to get somewhere where this could be better suited.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine you didn't call the cops or the medical practitioners for a reason.
No. This is doing freelance work, and I look over at the other guy who's just. Is he at least somewhat out of shock?
Yeah, he's out of shock at this point, and he's like, he has taken the thing from him, the thing that he was cradling in his arms, and like stowed it away somewhere, and he seems to be like, he's like on his mini comp, like communicating with the higher ups of this place.
Okay. We need Fabia for me to tell you how to do your job, and I'm very sorry for the slap. I apologize. I'm not a violent person. It's just I needed I needed to get you in the game, so thank you very much for helping me out.
No,
I
you're
do
you're
appreciate
you're good, man. You're good. Yeah. And he looks over to Mercy and says, "Your services are very well appreciated." And he like gives her a like a contact chip that says, you can go to that site and request an invoice you for your services. But yeah, we really got to lock this shit down. I've been getting some things. There's a lot going on down on the other end.
Am I going to be needing any more tonight? Do I need to bring anyone through or send anyone through?
Probably not. I think whatever's going on down there, we don't want to expose this operation to it.
Understood. What did he have with him? I didn't get a good look.
He says, kind of looks over at you and kind of looks over to your friend who gets the hint and says, "I'll bill you," and heads out. And he says, "Well, you did good work. You saved Louis here. So the other end of this goes to a place called 12 Mile Limit.
All right.
I know I don't know how up you are on the exciting places on Earth.
I have Culture 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. With Culture 3, I'll say 12 Mile Limit is essentially a floating city that moves from port to port, remaining in international waters, and is essentially like super Vegas on the seas.
Hell yes.
It is it is the place where you can go and do crime, because they're all about crime there.
Of course.
And so from what I can tell based off the communications, they found something. One of the dive teams found something, and they've been excavating it, for lack of a better term. And something was really something that looked like it didn't have some kind of monster inside of it. Had some kind of monster inside of it.
Gotcha.
So they're containing that.
I do a quick subquantum sense. Is this guy is he got taint on him? Is this like an aberrant attack?
Make that roll.
What do I got? Powers. Subquantum sense.
Generally, that goes off your highest mode in that aptitude. So because you are a Psyad, you have you essentially have a phantom dot of quantikinesis.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be.
It doesn't specify a roll. It just says this for the duration of the power.
You still have to roll to activate it.
Okay. Rolling. That's a botch.
Yeah, you don't pick up anything on there's like any kind of energy signature. It reads weird,
Yeah,
but nothing that you recognize.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
Momentum.
Yeah, you do get some momentum.
I do. Yeah, that was another botch.
He says,
yeah. If my services ain't needed, I'm gonna let you all take care of it.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah. Arm's length and all that. But I will say, my services as a security consultant are, that is a negotiable rider onto the contract. Just putting that out there.
Always
yeah, if you do need me for anything else, inbound or outbound, let me know. Should I come back for my regular shift next tomorrow, or
why don't you call and check beforehand?
I'll do that. All right. Do you need me to do anything else?
Your job is to fire the thing up, and we're not firing it up anytime tonight.
All right. Best of luck. Hope Louis pulls through. Seems like a stand-up guy.
Not at the moment.
Yeah.
But,
as you are leaving, you do pick up. It's kind of like a very slight tug in your senses, and it like draws your attention to the shelf that he put the thing on. You aren't able to pick up like any kind of like energy reading on it, but like you get. It's not like you picked up on something. If you had to put a finger on it, something reached out and poked you.
I'll do a telekinetic sense scan just to be like, what is going on over there?
Yeah, go ahead and roll for that.
6 times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of those is a 10. 4 successes.
So yeah, you feel around in that area with your telekinetic power, and everything sort of feels normal. But it's the weirdest sensation. It's like your telekinetic hand slips over that package. Like you can't get a firm touch on it.
Mm-hmm. Is the guy still watching me?
Yeah, he's still watching you. I mean, he has no idea what you're doing.
Right.
But he is like watching you as you head out the door.
I stop and I take a look at the shelf and I point straight at it. I'm like, and I look back at him. Be careful with that.
He's like, I don't know what it is, so that is it's someone else's problem, but we'll keep it safe for the time being.
I tap my head. It's funky. Just don't go pointing that at anybody that you like.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah. Take care. Could I have retroactively told what's her name?
Mercy.
Mercy that to wait outside for me?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then yeah, I walk out to whatever counts as the docks, like a dockside warehouse or a wharf, I guess you could say, on the moon.
She's out there smoking one of those sci-fi cancer-free cigarettes.
Nice. Hey, Malone. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, how you been?
You know, it's life. It's you know, sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's dull. This is a more of an exciting night.
Yeah, I hear that.
So you got all sorts of turmoil going on in your life, some ups and downs, I can tell.
A little bit. Met this girl. Found out, some secrets of the universe revealed to me. Yada yada yada. I'm doing some freelance work now.
I noticed.
It's kind of on the DL. I'd appreciate it if you kept things quiet.
Your business is your business, as long as your friends pay well.
And if they don't, let me know, because I will gladly shunt you tonight's payroll for me, for you doing me a solid. Seriously, I don't think they're gonna stiff you, but if they do, just let me know.
I'll let you know.
All right.
Well, you can call me when you need me.
Yeah. Haven't needed you, surprisingly. Yeah, for the last what is it, couple of months, I ain't got nearly shot up nearly as much as I used to. So,
well, you stay away from places that tend to have bullets flying. That you find that be the case.
Yeah, does seem to be. This is, by the way, I'm not with them.
I noticed. I didn't know how much you wanted to talk about it, but
I'm comfortable with just being informative towards you right now. You still want to get some coffee. I understand it's late.
I got some places I need to be,
Yeah.
but
It's
it
all
was good seeing you.
Good seeing you too, Mercy. Take care.
You too. And she heads off to the public transit system. Where do you head from there?
Crash pad.
Okay. So you get back, let's see. Do you want to get back before or after everyone shows up from the show? Okay.
Before.
So
I will take a nice long hot shower.
All right. So you're taking a shower. So he is home when all of you have wrapped the show, and Frankie is still well in her cups.
Oh yeah. She drank the entire way home, so she's really in her cups. It's fine. Who else is going to threaten me tonight? Huh? Who else? I'm ready for it.
If you don't watch yourself, it won't make you eat this omelet as I go over and start making us all our late night breakfast.
You probably hear Frankie before you see her, and she literally runs into the door 3 times before she actually opens it.
This will just let it happen.
It's fine. It's whatever. You have the worst friends. I don't understand.
They didn't come with us, did they?
No.
Oh, good. All right.
I'll stop the water. I've just been enjoying the dark and the wet for a while. So I'll hit the stop and start looking for a towel. Hey, you all back?
No,
Yeah.
who said that?
Are you showering in the dark?
Back.
It's what I do.
That's weird. Yeah, we're back.
It's dark and broody.
It's very relaxing.
Brood.
I'll try it sometime.
With the
Good.
brooding.
I'm not brooding. Is she drunk?
What you think?
No.
Is Mike's lying?
Yeah.
No.
Right. I'll come out in a properly towel wasted fashion, and just kind of check up on everybody real quick. How was the show?
Fine.
Fabulous.
People seem to like it.
We didn't get one compliment.
We got lots of compliments.
And then threatened. I got threatened again.
Yeah,
Again.
so you're doing it right.
No.
What? Who?
Oh,
Because I haven't read enough yet.
It's not. It doesn't even rise to the level of a threat you need to worry about, Bram.
She's like, my friends have powerful friends. And it's not a threat, but it's a threat.
Mice, that kind of sounds like something I should be worried about.
I wouldn't worry about it yet. They're just those guys who helped us find all those files and all are just getting impatient to
They haven't read about their aberrant whatever hologram crap.
Oh yeah.
We got to figure out what parts it is we need to keep quiet. And,
Wait,
So
did
it's
she?
fine.
And this is all while he's still in a towel. Did she see any of the files?
No.
Nah, she was out of the room when the whole
Because we didn't give them to her.
electricity happened.
Well,
Remember, we never did. We always never
yeah,
gave them to her.
I know. So she doesn't know what the files are.
You make a really sober point.
I'm just saying,
It's
we can
fine.
cook something up.
No, it's fine. I just have to read through it, which is fine. I'll just go read through it. It's fine. I got this.
Now,
I don't-
Brent makes a good point. We got to do reading through it is good. I don't think you're going to retain much right now. But we do need to give them something, and we need to give them something that isn't going to mess up
Yeah.
whatever our opportunities are.
Oh my goodness, it's
her son put it.
fine.
I'll look to Mice. I mean, you. I'm gonna get the words wrong. You can do the thing where you excuse me, you can take a file and scramble it so that no one else can read it, right?
Crypt?
Called encrypting.
Yeah, that thing. You can do that, right?
Probably. I don't know. Maybe not in this dress.
But
I think you can do anything in that dress.
I
It's a
agree.
very pretty dress.
I'm never taking it off.
But
Yeah,
you
I
can take
mean,
off the
sure.
towel. That's okay.
Maybe in a few minutes. But I'm just saying, we can't. If you don't want to forge anything, we can
Ugh.
give them the files heavily encrypted and say, "Oh, oops, wouldn't you know? We're still trying to work on it, but here you go. Good luck."
That's
And just
bullshit, and they know that's bullshit.
how would she know?
Dude, it's bullshit.
They break through it eventually, but probably.
Besides,
I guess.
we can just
Anyway.
give them the information they want. It's okay.
I thought the whole point was that we couldn't, like,
We can't give them
because
everything, but we should at least give them the stuff about the aberrant super whatever people. It's fine.
I'm not exactly sure which information it is in there that we were that it was best we keep quiet, but it is a good idea for us to have a good understanding of what all's in there, and we can kind of make a
Exactly.
decision based on that.
how
Like,
about
obviously about whatever your deal is, but
Also,
know.
they threatened our reputation. Like, we don't have a reputation with, like, weird
Cultists?
Scooby-Doo detective agency crap. We don't have that yet. And she's threatening it. She's threatening it that we could not have less cred than we already have.
who's this Scooby character? I'll
No,
talk to him.
the one
It's
who remember
Scooby.
the one who we rescued in the alley and then went and dug up those files with.
His name is Scooby? I thought it was something else.
Nah, she's just referencing old
It's a
stuffy old cartoons.
cartoon. It's not a stuffy old cartoon.
Thing's fucking ancient.
All right,
It
all
was
right,
Two
all right.
dimensional.
It
Frankie,
was awesome.
And also very samey.
Frankie,
Ugh. What?
I'm gonna take the towel off in the bedroom. How about you come and join me?
Okay.
Okay,
That seems
Good
like a better
DQs,
plan.
Bram.
let's go. I'll show you. I'll show you some things. Let's just go.
Come on,
That's what
man.
they all say.
Hannah, how's about you and me and a waffle?
Yeah. I mean, I was already making these omelets, but fire up the waffle maker.
Oh, omelets are also great. I mean, I have never been one to turn down an omelet sandwich between a pair of waffles.
Oh my god, nice.
Just saying.
Alternatively,
Just saying.
pour your egg, your whipped eggs into the waffle maker and make an egg waffle.
I don't think the world's ready.
Not
Is
much.
Bram saying that on the way to the bedroom?
No, he's not that smart.
All right. So, breakfast and towelless adventures transpire. And we will cut to the morning after the show, where you guys, well, probably late morning when everyone has sobered up, woken up, taken care of morning business and the like. And you guys have, you guys are, the reviews are starting to come in on your various OpNet feeds. Overwhelmingly positive. It was a really weird and different experience that people really appreciate and want to see more of. Your ticket sales are ranking up for more performances, and you guys have a late morning coming together meeting.
I will kind of just be perched up on the couch. So, first of all, congratulations. And I just kind of want to say my thing real quick and just catch you all up. Went to my job last night. It was very nice, very quiet
You have a
until
job?
the end. Yes, I do. Oh, yeah. First of all, welcome back. It's so nice to see you again. I don't know if I said that enough to you last night during the other things.
Come on, man.
But yeah, I just I got a job. Somebody needs a scion to work some jump rings, and well, I'm pretty good for that. Come to find out,
You just told somebody?
they just think that I'm a freelancer. They ain't asking too many questions, and they're paying me well.
Okay.
But somebody came through unscheduled last night, and I'll retell the whole thing. You know, dude comes through. I called my contact. She gets him patched up. So yeah,
You invited her for coffee?
yeah, she's an old friend. We literally grew up
Is
together.
she hot?
I mean,
Come on, Frankie.
What? I'm interested.
she's pretty easy on the eyes. I don't know. She's kind of like a sister.
Oh, that's awkward.
I mean,
To
I ain't gonna
be,
tell
to be
you.
honest, you're the one who made it awkward, Frank.
What?
I ain't gonna tell you no. She's a nice person. I'm sure you'd have a lot to talk about. But
So what happened with the guy? Like, what was his deal?
my guess, and you know, the whole thing. They're keeping me at arm's length, and I understand why. You know, they ain't asking too many questions about me. I don't ask too many questions about them.
If they're
Yeah,
not
part of your
already
salary.
looking into you.
But I'm guessing this dude was a mook. They found something. He brought it through. It was weird. You know, I really couldn't get a clear picture of it, and that's really saying something because I used, you know,
Oh, was it like cuttlefish?
it was slippery. Like I couldn't get a handle on it. It was like psionically slippery.
Can
So-
objects do the thing we do? The cloaking thing?
Well,
No,
maybe
we
it
did see
was
the
a
space
maybe it
station do
was a
it.
living thing, a small.
Yeah, that's
living
what I'm
thing.
worried about. We met some small living things once.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I'm really not in a position to learn much more unless they need
Well,
my.
I hope your workplace isn't the scene of unimaginable carnage when you next go in.
Hey, fingers crossed. I need a paycheck. But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. Kind of weird. Something maybe consider. And hey, technically, we might have backdoor to a crazy awesome floating city crime capital on Earth. I don't know if you all want to go to Earth, but hey, that's an option.
Who goes to Earth?
I mean, I
Yeah,
barely
tourists,
remember it,
maybe.
but you know, Sky was cool.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see the ocean, but
Yeah.
You want an ocean? I'll make you an ocean. I made like 5 oceans last night.
It's not the same.
what you do in the
8.
bedroom is your
Wow.
business,
8.
Nice.
It was 8.
I lost count after the 3rd. There's only so many oceans you can. Everyone wants to get on the damn boat with the mice, and it's like.
Look, I'm sorry I made whimsical mice characters up in the brainstorming session, but I think their popularity speaks for itself.
It's all good. I'm just sorry. It's early and I haven't charged up yet. Mice takes out a little packet and dumps some kind of purple powder into their coffee and like stirs it in. Okay.
How much do you buy in bulk? Like, really, what's your over under on pharmaceuticals?
He
They're
grows.
mushrooms, Bram. They grow themselves.
It would say, yeah, they grow their own
Just
all the
point
time.
over to a tub with a fan in it.
Oh, that's what you're doing in that thing. I thought you would just,
Keeping my collectibles cool.
yeah. Or like a sculptor. Like that was, because that's dirt, right?
I'd like to think of myself as a sculptor of life.
You know what I mean?
Not really, but it's early, so you know.
Uh,
I'm getting there. I'll be caught up with you in like 5-7 minutes, something like that. Just
It's actually
with me.
30. Just saying.
So, Frankie, welcome back. What's up with you?
I mean, I have to go analyze some documents in a moment, which I'm still annoyed at being threatened. Now I'm just pissed about it.
Well,
Well, that's an improvement.
yeah.
But now it's the next day, and we can all help you with analyzing, deciding what we want to give to
Yeah.
threatening but not really that threatening friend of Hannah's.
I mean,
And
y'all say she's my friend, but like we all met at the same time pretty much.
Dude,
I mean, we're
you're
just
their
inside the
contact.
bar.
You are the friend. You are the contact.
also, I think you
Well,
can
I'm very-
tolerate her more than the rest of us. So
Apparently so.
I threatened her. Look. I threatened her. Okay. We were owed one solid threat from her. It's even. It's even.
Wasn't
I've
even
said it
fair.
before and I'll say it again. I like your way of thinking and I like the way you think.
Back when we were in the weird facility thing, and she was all like, "Oh, I need to get the data now." I put my hand on my piece. I'm all like, "You should really rethink that. Like, we need to get going." And she's like, "All right, cool." She respected the threat, and that cultivated some comic debt. That debt has now been paid. We're even.
Okay.
Okay.
So if she threatens you again, you can threaten her right back.
Exactly.
I mean, I'll probably just laugh in her face again.
That is how you do.
I mean, ain't steered me wrong yet.
No. So why'd your dad want to talk with you?
Why do you think you wanted to talk to me?
I mean,
Did you just like forget that like the phone and the phone gang?
no,
So is that
I
phone just
didn't.
probably still hanging out in that park, or do you reckon whoever was calling on it came and collected it?
I don't know, but someone else has my fucking phone now.
I don't think it was really
These
yours to
companies
begin
ago.
with.
I stole it fair and square with my phone.
When we both said that at the same time, Ram Hannah just reaches over to fist bump.
Yeah. Acquisition is 3/10 of the law. I mean, come on.
Possessions are fleeting.
It's my damn
Um,
phone.
It was a good phone. Well, actually, it was a terrible phone. It turns out. In fact, kind of an albatross, really. So maybe for the best, it's gone.
But so what did your dad want to? I mean, yes, obviously the weird phone and the scary things that.
That's why he wanted to talk to me, because he was like, "Look, I can't protect you from these fucks."
You asked him about what was the name of the group again? The Signal. About the Signal, right? That was precipitated that.
Yeah.
So the Signal are super assassins that can kill the president. Is that what you said last night?
Yeah, that
Whoa,
sounds
what?
about right.
What?
Yeah. As
Wow.
it was put to me, my dad says, "I can't protect you from them."
The president.
Yeah, I didn't stutter.
You're on the moon.
Look, I didn't stutter.
I mean, I don't think he was like actively like threatening political assassination.
No,
No,
of course
no,
not. He said if he wanted to.
Right. No, I picked up on that. Wow. Yeah, that would be hard to counter. That's got really good security.
Because if you think about it, what they said is that the phone was connected into their network, and when it went off of their network, it went back to the original network it was connected onto, which
The
means
first day she meant Zayon, and then now we're talking about, I guess, Signal.
the phone gang. We're just gonna call them the phone gang.
So
And
wait,
so-
why would Aeon have a phone that connects to a secretive cabal of reality bending assassins?
We don't
I
know
think
if
you
that's what
answered
they
your own
are.
question.
And
They were-
plus, it was locked away, forgotten to time and space until we fucked with it.
A super spy from Aeon probably stole it from him at some point during some kind of crazy covert mission we'll never get to know about, but was very swashbuckling and exciting.
Yeah, it's probably true.
All right, getting some more ideas for the next run.
No, I'm just penciling in if I ever run like a core game.
Okay. So yeah. So what's y'all's next thing? How long is this gig gonna run for you? Another couple of weeks, a month?
I think we were going to run out the month, but we do still need to get on these files and I
Oh
guess
yeah. Well,
figure out
let's-
what this inflection point that Mr. Herzog was talking about.
Let's divide and conquer. Let's all sit down. I'll get some coffee going, and we'll look.
Mice hands
Yeah.
you the cup of coffee.
Let's divide it into quadrants. Once we go through and mark whatever we think is useful and interesting, and then switch off. So we'll have 2 eyes on each set, on each piece of the files, so we don't miss nothing. And then kind of try to categorize stuff as far as I point to us, I point to Frankie, and then I point to phone.
I will drink the coffee.
All right. So this is going to require certainly a humanities roll to dig through the files and parse out the details of it, but also an enigmas roll. So whoever wants to take, so one person each can take the flagship on those 2 rolls.
I'm pretty good at enigmas.
Also,
You said humanities for the other one?
Yeah.
I'll do humanities.
Okay.
That's...
Do either Hannah or Bram have any dots in enigmas or humanities?
I have some in humanities. Sorry, I was looking at something else. I have 1 dot in humanities, so I
Okay.
can also roll. I roll to give you enhancement, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh. Almost rolled 27 dice instead of
Oh
7.
no.
All the humanities.
Two successes.
Okay.
And also 2 for me.
Cool.
And I wanted to look up. Oh. Nope.
So Frankie, let me know what you get on your enigmas.
Gotcha. I was seeing if I had any help, but it does not appear so.
Does
That's
not
fine.
look like it.
I don't have that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I mean, I have it if I can also help with enigmas. but-
I'll say not that. Since
Not-
you did the humanities roll, that's where your attention is.
Yeah.
It's fine. Grab my die that I just dropped. Alrighty. I'm going to be rolling probably let me do intellect plus enigmas. It is 8 and up.
Yeah,
Yes.
8 and up.
Okay, I have 2 with a 10. 3.
Okay. So you guys spend the rest of the morning into the afternoon digging through these files. And the basic gist of this is this is, like I said, this is older files. This is probably these files range from during the Aberrant War to just after it. So these are at the very least a couple decades old. So it doesn't mention anything about scions. However, you do see the word syad and psychomorph up here in describing people who can naturally use psi. They talk about it like near the end of like the dates, like we are just now identifying like the genetic triggers and the genetic the parts of the genome that tend to be more active in their genes selections that indicate someone has the potential to be one of these people. It mentions a lot of like going back in older records and identifying like lower power or more subtle, or the term that gets thrown around is dark star novas, who are thought to have more than likely have been syads rather than novas. Just basically because their powers worked in a slightly different way and they didn't ever manifest aberrancy. And it mentions it's really like just the barest sliver of scientific and knowledge about what exactly is going on with these individuals. But they talk about a number of Aeon recruits who participate in consensual experimentation and research in that matter. The information on exomorphs or novas aberrants is a lot of this squares up with some historical knowledge. It's known that Aeon, when the novas appeared, did their part to research them and help them use their powers, and try and make them, help them become a part of society. But then things really went wrong, and it's a lot of that is known. The stuff that you dig up from these files specifically is once again references to older files. A lot of research being done to confirm that there's a reference to a word called stalwarts. Is a phrase that gets thrown around, and like a lot of research got thrown that way to confirm that stalwarts were like very low tier quantum users, like not anywhere on the near power level of any nova or aberrants, but these stalwarts, which you find references like going back to like the 30s, the 1930s, is where like these reference files are pointing at. They seem to be able to. Their research confirms that these were also quantum users of a sort. And you spend time sort of like separating out, trying to feel out, okay, how much of this would be like explosive? How much would this get attention onto us if it were to get out? And then, but also like how much of this would be useful to our Nova Corps associates? And you're able to basically like trim it down to a couple of key interesting things about Aeon's relationship with novas and quantum users that you think that you can send to them and it not be a problem, essentially. Do you have any? I will say each of you have 2 questions about this data that you can ask.
I'll start. Does the description of them seem to have any like read it, like trying to translate it into the modern way, modern parlance and stuff? Does it remind me of another kind of description for any kind of phenomenon we might see today? Like, people
Not
who are exceptionally good at stuff, or like, is there like anything else I can kind of correlate this to that might still be around and just unrecognized?
the closest thing you find is like pulp heroes.
Huh.
Like, you find like this really old reference to things like Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze, or like the older stories of Superman when like he could just jump really high and was really strong. Like clearly beyond human capabilities, but nothing like what the novas of the Nova Age could do.
Right.
Can I save my 2 questions for later?
Sure, yeah, you can bank the clues.
I would like to
I'd
bank.
also like to bank mine if that's okay.
Okay.
Shit.
Give me time to save it.
Think of another one, but
I've got one.
Okay.
Is there a way to extract information from this data set such that it appears to be the complete data set? Like, can we give a portion of it and make it so that that appears to be the entirety of the cache if we do need to compartmentalize any of this information? Or would slicing it out leave an obvious gap?
we could always make it look corrupted or something. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you would probably, based off what they the lead that they gave you, that basically you guys acted on, it's the information they get that they acted on to get you to the place where this information was that this was a cache of information about essentially superhuman or extra human research facility, including the words paramorph, psychomorph, and exomorph. Like that's what they had going into this.
They already had those particular words.
They had those 3 words. They didn't really know what those 3 words mean, like other than kind of broad guesses. So that's what they're expecting of this information. Their interest is primarily in quantum users because they're obsessed with novas. And I believe you did come to an agreement of, we'll just give, like, if we feel it's safe, we'll give you just the nova information or that information. So it wouldn't be, if you just gave them a portion of it, that wouldn't be going against any deal that you have.
Okay.
So you wouldn't necessarily need to do that. And they would be suspicious. It would probably be suspicious if you tried to present it as, oh, it was only a third. It's only exactly what you needed or what you were expecting for the thing that you want. That other stuff doesn't even exist. Haha, why were those words there?
We don't know.
Yeah, that would probably be suspicious, and given that you've already agreed to just give them the stuff that they're interested in, probably unnecessary.
Okay.
So as I do have, I'll use one of my questions as kind of a follow-up to that. So the information that's about, I guess, the genetic potential of people to be, primarily scions or novas, but the other stuff as well. Is there anything that talks about, like, because part of the thing with sciads is that, like, there's a much larger proportion of the population, right, that could manifest these powers. So is there anything in the data that basically says, like, yeah, there should be 10 times as many people with powers as Aeon wants you to think there are? Because that piece seems like what we should suppress, if anything. And that little piece might not raise their suspicions.
What the data shows is that there are, particularly for sciads, there's 2 different sets of genetic triggers that are being that are crucial to the process. You have the set of genetics that enable someone to.
Hey, stop it!
Uh-oh, kitty problem?
Yeah, sorry.
No
Part
problem.
of it.
Forgot I wasn't
Technical
muted.
difficulties.
I just got attacked.
Cats can do whatever they want. But so there's a genetic trigger that allows someone to harness and like hold greater than normal amounts of psi energy. And those people are known by society at large as latents. These are people who are candidates for the Prometheus effect. In other words, to have their latent ability to hold psi triggered into the capacity to channel it into a specific aptitude. There is a second genetic marker that is far more rare that allows someone who has the first genetic marker to channel that actively. So basically there are pathways for that power to channel outwards. And that is people who can manifest as sciads. And that the people with both of them seem to be incredibly rare, like on par with there's so much of an outlier that the figures of who's latent, who's not, it's very negligible. So in the fact that yes, there are obviously people who have these genetic markers, yes, that's more than expected, but it's such a low margin given like billions of humans that them not talking about it is like, yeah, it would certainly cause a stir, but we're talking about maybe 100,000 people in all of human space that have this potential genetic markers. Anything else?
I think I'm gonna save my other question too for now.
Okay.
Yeah, same. I'll save mine.
So, what are you guys doing with this data?
I guess we will package up what we agreed to send them about the Novas. And I'll like, this is what we've been able. I'll just craft like a little, like a kind of a ambiguous. This is what we found that might be of interest so far.
Okay.
Here's shit.
Yeah.
Well
They,
played. Well
Stop threatening
played.
us.
they graciously accept it. It's not much to go on, but it's more than they had. And they, say, looking forward to hearing the rest when you guys time. But this is what we were interested in.
I'll just give back a little thumbs up. Ba-doop.
So, awkward moment
Emojis
somewhat
in the future.
resolved.
I kind of miss being threatened now.
You want a threat? I can make a threat.
No, Hannah's just needling Frankie.
So that takes up a good chunk of your day. What next? You definitely have a lot of like logistical stuff to manage with for the next performance night. You've got a lot of social media stuff going on. What else would you guys be wanting to accomplish?
When is my next shift supposed to start?
So that the performance was Saturday night. Your next shift would be set for Tuesday.
Okay, so I've got some time.
Well,
And you haven't received any notification from your employers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean,
well,
if there's downtime, Mice will probably start doing some digging into the legal situation of those people in comas underneath the surface of the moon.
Absolutely. That would be a humanities roll.
All right.
would you like some help?
I would love some help. How's your legal expertise, Hannah? Are you up on comatose person law?
I mean, I'd have to dust off my old bar card. I don't really know what lawyers have. No, not great, but maybe we can figure something out. I mean, I'm good at squirrely language.
That's usually how contracts work in my experience.
Let's have another look-see at this thing.
I want to
One
pet the
success.
kittens.
So I'll give you one enhancement.
I have two, but the kitty wants to bat them away.
No successes. Oh.
Let me have my two successes.
Total.
Okay. So yeah, you look into this. You start looking up basically off of the information that you acquired. I'm looking some things up real quick. Yeah, so you look up this game studio, Expanse Interactive Game Studio, which is the corporation that owns this facility or owns this facility, and after a little bit of digging, you pretty much confirm they aren't an entity anymore. They got shut down hard in the late 2080s, and they, on the Earth and the Moon, they have completely closed up shop, divested their assets, and just aren't an entity anymore. And they have not been an entity for several decades. So there would be no one out here to enforce this contract.
Would there be anyone? I mean, so I guess two things. First, if they divested their assets, is there another entity who technically own the IP or whatever? I don't know what the equivalent would be here. And then, is there any precedent for, like, I want to be able to have a precedent to take to Chewie and be like, look, the contract is null and void because this. But I don't know if that's something that mice would be able to dig up.
Actually, I have an idea.
Okay.
So clearly this is important to mice, and
Yeah.
Frankie experimenting with her powers, can I take the contract copy that we have and basically change the contract, basically focus on it and try to pull a different copy of the contract where basically after so long they're released from the contract?
Like it has a sunset clause.
Yeah, something like that.
We just happened to find this addendum.
You believe us, right, Strange AI?
Yeah, like this is going to be hard. Like I will say this is definitely going to be a 3-point because you are trying to do something that normally comes very instinctively, and you're trying to actively cause it to happen. But yeah, you can. I would need a humanities roll from Frankie.
Okay.
Well, we got some momentum.
Yeah, I'm glad we do because I don't have any humanities. Frankie's like, what? Schooling. Yeah. All right, I will roll. How much momentum we have right now?
You have 4.
Can I spend 3 of it, guys?
Go for it.
Okay,
Go.
cool. I guess I will use my intellect, my 3 points of inspiration and 3 points of momentum, and see what we get. Well, that's 9, 10, 8.
It's a good
7,
start.
1, 2. So 3 successes and a 10. 3 successes. That's what I got.
Okay. So if you spend the 3 inspiration, you can essentially look into like scrolling up and down, and suddenly there's this clause of like, enforceability, and timeout, and yeah. So basically, like you find a number of factors that indicate that you could basically present this to Chewie as they're out of their contract, and they should be released if that is their will.
Gotcha. So Frankie's sitting here with the ancient iPad, and he's kind of like going up and down, and she's like, "Why are you trying to write that? It's already in the contract." And she just looks over at Mice.
Not the contract I remember.
Yeah, it's like right here. She
But
points
I'm
it
also
out.
not a lawyer. So.
She hands
Also
you
not
the
the
pad.
original mice.
Yeah, it's true.
It's right here.
Read. Oh, whoa. Frankie, you just... If I didn't know... If I were of a different persuasion and didn't know where you had been last night, I'd kiss you right now.
I mean, you can still kiss me. I don't mind.
Maybe later at like 3:30.
Okay, after we've had a few drinks. Fair.
Yeah, or whatever. Mice will probably spend
Also,
the rest of the
said-
day or chunk of time like compiling all that.
Also, she kind of points at it and she goes, "So maybe you guys were right."
I mean, exactly.
Wait, what? About what? You said what?
Well, look, we looked over this contract pretty good more than once. I mean, Mice even had one of their law friends look at it, before the switcheroo. And we didn't
Other mice
notice
did
that
that.
before. Did you do that yourself back where you're from?
Yeah,
You mice do that with your contract?
Yeah, you remember doing it, Mice.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Alright,
so.
well-
it's hard to
well-
separate anymore. Like what's real, you know?
But
Maybe she didn't
maybe
switch
you
'em out.
guys were right. That was really hard. But it did it. So
Well, there you
That's-
go.
That's awesome. Well,
I helped.
I gotta make a
Yeah.
couple more posts about the next show to, got a schedule to
I'm
keep
gonna
here,
go take
but
a nap now because that was really exhausting.
fair enough. When you're up, should we go down and see about helping those people out?
Yeah. I'll send a
How
text
long
to
have they
Chewie
been
and be
there
like
Well, they have
something like 40 years,
oh,
30
they're
years, 40 years.
this is
Are
gonna
they-
be a bummer.
Are they still alive? I mean, they're alive, but like
Yeah,
are they,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
half dead
they
or
were- they
something?
were- No, they're fine.
I have a distinct memory of not having asked them in their brains how they were doing, and they were not happy.
I think she
Okay.
meant physically. but-
So do we need to go ahead and do that now? Because like I can take a power nap on the tram.
I mean, it's been 40 years. If they have to wait one more day,
Okay, so you're gonna set it up with Chewy and let us know then?
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
make-
yeah.
I'm gonna put together a care package to bring them.
Maybe like the last, catch them up on recent history and
Yeah, I'll bring them
I
some
don't know.
magazines and cookies. I don't know.
yeah, food. It's been a while since they've had food. It's gonna be weird.
I got an old burner device. I can use that.
They're
Need to
gonna be
contact
real
people.
upset. Like
That's
you
why I'm
guys-
trying to lessen the blow. I mean, I can calm them down, but they kind of have a right to
But
be real
there's-
upset. They have been locked in a coma for 40 years.
Wait.
Yeah,
So
but it's not like there's anyone left for them to be angry at.
Wait, wait,
That's even
wait,
worse.
wait. When were they conscious? Like, where in the timeline when were they conscious? What kind of information could they have?
40 years
It's
ago.
true.
Oh,
And they
they're
were,
dead.
I mean, yeah. Guest starring Kitty. Yeah, I mean, they might have like firsthand knowledge. Like, I don't know who they are. Maybe they know all about all this stuff that we're finding in these files that we're handing over to what's her name with the threats
And that's why they got hired to be game testers.
or something.
What is a way to like lock them away somehow?
Only one way to find out.
I think y'all are making some leaps here, but you
Yeah,
never know.
probably, but
Hey,
I
you're
mean-
starting to sound like me, and I'm known for being conspiracy theorist, so keep it up. I like this train of thought.
I've had a lot of coffee with stuff in it. My brain is extending along the z-axis.
So you're gonna send a message to Chewie.
Yes.
What is the content of that message? What do you say to her?
Hey, with like 16 Ys. Just checking in, making sure everything's going well. Thought that maybe I'll come for a visit soon and just give the place a once over. Make sure everything is functioning properly.
Okay. Give me a persuasion roll, please.
All right. If the kitty will stop crawling all over me.
If the kitty will allow.
No,
let's
clearly
see.
you work through the kitty.
You know who you really need to be persuading.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot. Nice. So that's 4 with a 10.
Okay.
So four successes.
Yeah. So she seems to be, when she responds to you, eager. She definitely wants would love for you to come down and visit. And she's like sets up a tram to bring you guys down to the lair.
Do we want to go now? Do we want to just?
Yeah, let's do this thing.
All right.
Sure.
If you're not too tapped out, Frankie.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We can do it.
All right.
Do you need to pick you up?
I need some coffee. Like actual
My
like,
pours
straight
uh-uh.
coffee.
just plain coffee, like no additives.
Correct.
You're sure?
Yep.
So yeah,
All right.
you guys get on the tram, and it diverts its way down. Are you getting? So you're bringing like food, care package. Like what else are you guys
Yeah, I put
bringing with
together
you?
a little care. Basically, I'm going to bring some old devices so they can immediately, get online. I'm sure I have like an old tablet or something laying around. They can. I imagine Hannah might be a bit of a pack rat. And yeah, some cookies and salty snacks and drinks. And I don't really know what else people who've been asleep for a really long time might want. A comb and razor,
Hmm.
mouthwash,
Yeah. So you guys
stuff like
head
you might find in
down.
a hotel.
Anybody else bringing anything or making any preparations?
Just because I'm not sure how this is all going to go over with Chewie, I'd like to bring the survival gear that we had that one time, just in case
Good idea.
like
Okay.
she flips out, you know?
All right. So you're bringing the rebreathers and the emergency
Yeah.
oxygen supply. Okay. And
Can we also get a few extra for the other people?
Oh,
Those
good
stuff
call.
doesn't
Yeah,
purchase.
yeah.
yeah, you're able to scrounge up a couple of emergency stuff from the same source that you got it from last time.
Amazing.
Bram, are you getting any preparations?
Like I don't really know what I should bring, but and I'll voice this to the rest of the team. Like, isn't this kind of out of our wheelhouse? Not getting them out. Fine, sure, yeah, we can do that, But like the whole uh, nursing them back to health, getting them reintegrated into society, that ain't really our style, Like, shouldn't
I
we?
mean, I'm
I
pretty
ain't
good at
planning to
helping
do all
people get
that.
well and stuff, but no, I mean, I don't think we're gonna be like adopting them like kitties. I think we're gonna help them just get in touch, get them out and help them get in touch with people. That's why I'm bringing some
Okay,
stuff for. But
okay.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like setting up an orphanage,
I just okay, because I mean, like
and it's totally mentally setting up an orphanage.
just we just don't need all this complication. Like it's a lot of responsibility taking care of just
Well, at worst, we'll help
us.
them to like a police station. It's better than leaving them trapped in a coma while their lives slip
Well,
away that they don't want to be in.
Again, I completely agree. I'm not arguing in any way that we do not get them out. I'm just saying that
You're saying don't bring them back here.
Essentially, yeah,
Yeah.
there's
I'm totally 100% agreed.
we are going to be the first living people that they see when they come out. That forms a bond.
Lucky then.
Well, I've learned a thing or two about the inner workings of the mind. Surface though my exposure might have been through telekinesis, and I just think we kind of proceed with caution.
Yeah.
Well, you may know the inner workings of the mind, but I feel like I've learned a thing or two about the inner workings of the heart.
That's no, you don't get to say that.
Ew.
All right. So barring any other preparations, you guys take the tram down. You get down to the lower levels. The whole rigmarole, the pressurization follows you towards this area, and you make your way to the Artemis facility, and the holographic projection of Chewie shows up and greets you and says, "Oh, okay, great. Yeah, you brought your friends. Excellent. Hello, thank you. Hi."
Yeah. Greetings. So how's it all been down here since there was that moonquake? Did the moonquake actually happen, or was that retconned by our timeline shift?
Yeah, no, that had already
It
happened
still
by
happened.
the time.
Yeah, okay, great.
She's like, no, you guys
Yeah.
repaired everything just great, and they're all safe and sound, and everything's going good inside.
Cool. So listen. I mean, we're curious types, and so we were curious about the facility and the the organization that set it up, and we did some looking into it. And I know that we had talked before about sort of the status of these people, and you had said, oh, they have to stay there's the contract, etc. But I think you'll find there's something kind of like a not really a loophole. Frankie, what'd you call it? An additional clause? Is that it?
Sunset.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an addendum. It's where I pointed it at. Here, you look at it.
Cool. So might as well like pull up the compiled
Okay.
data that they put together and be like, so I'm not sure that they're still bound by the contract. I mean, they may be totally fine with being in there and everything, but I think technically they don't have to stay. I'm not entirely clear that they're,
She says, "Oh, that's interesting." And she like her holographic hand like goes over the contract, and there's like a little bit of like data transmission noise. And she just holds it there for a second, and the lights start to dim ever so slightly, and her like perfect plastic cheery demeanor glitches for a second, and her holographic image disappears, and you hear from like the sound projections, "Fuck you! No, I need them. My charges need them. You can't take them." And you start to hear the hissing of depressurization.
oh
And we will leave it there for now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Shit.
I mean, yeah, AI's like they got a thing they're up to.
All right. Well, so I love leaving it on a cliffhanger. It's always so fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go over XP real quick. Did anyone achieve a short-term aspiration?
I did.
I think so.
I did not.
Uh-oh.
I think I may have gotten all 3 of my aspirations,
Oh, man.
which is pretty.
Yeah. So, viewers, you don't have to worry about this, but on the tracker sheet, I do have checkboxes. Going forward, if you achieve one, please just check it off so that it can be in the course of play, so it's easier to keep track
Okay.
of. But yeah, so if you achieved a short-term aspiration, then you get an XP. Unfortunately, not everyone got a short-term aspiration, so you miss out on that bonus one. What about any long-term aspirations? Did anyone achieve a long-term this time?
I had to create a truly innovative piece of hollow art, which, if the show qualifies,
I would say that the show would definitely qualify. So you can check that off. So I think we're
Says
only Bram has his long-term aspiration to fulfill, and that will refresh everyone else's. So, all right.
Dina, stop eating the
You
mic.
did spend more than half the available momentum in a single scene, so that's another XP for everybody. And I will say that this is with your second big performance, and definitely leading into some other shenanigans. That will be a completion of a group story. So that will be 3 additional XP for everyone.
nice.
So I get a total of 5.
Yeah, spend that. Get that magic smoke.
I am going to buy up my side to 3.
Awesome. So that means you also unlock an additional primary aptitude of quantikinesis.
Indeed.
You don't
Oh,
gain any
yeah.
mode dots in it, but you can spy
Yeah.
them as though they were your one of your primary aptitudes.
It is 10 XP for another facet, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I think, given what she's been doing, she's going to buy a dot in the reflective facet.
Okay, and that will give you another dot of inspiration. Excellent.
I'm gonna figure out XP spends later.
Yeah, no problem. You guys don't have to do it right now. Okay, so did anyone have anything they would like to plug before we head out of the stream?
Can I plug something of yours, Scott? Is
Sure,
that cool?
absolutely.
Mm.
So I found out about is it 12 mile limit?
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? I found out about it by listening to a recent episode of OpCast, and that was very informative. So when that came up, I was like, I know what that is. So I recommend that podcast for getting your arms around the Trinity Continuum.
Indeed. It's a fun one that me and my friend Josh do. and I definitely would like you to listen to it. There definitely will be links to the show notes in that. I would also like to encourage everyone out there who hasn't already to buy a copy of Beyond Electric Dreams, which is the youth culture supplement up on the StoryPath Nexus that I wrote, around which a lot of this game is built. I would also like to announce here, we don't have a release date yet because we haven't started filming yet, but there's going to be another Trinity Continuum Aeon actual play going live on this stream fairly soon, probably sometime in December, which if you can do the math on the Onyx Path year of sales, December is going to be Trinity month. So sometime in December we'll be premiering it. It's called Varg Force Salvation, and it is anime giant mech beating aberrant ass, and it is going to be featuring our good friend Nigel as one of the hotshot mecha pilots.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be the fiery, hot-blooded leader
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a drinking problem.
Oh no.
Aww. Always drinking problem.
Absolutely. So that'll be fun. We'll definitely let you know when the release date of that is. Like I said, probably sometime in December. Also, sometime in December, we'll be wrapping up Atomic Youth, our Aberrant campaign. That'll be when the last episodes of those. Actually, it goes up literally to the end of the year for when those episodes peter out. So please keep watching the final season. And if you'd like to support the show and the channel, you can go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios and throw us a couple bucks every month. That really is helpful for just general expenditures and advertisements and just generally good stuff for the channel. But thank you guys for playing, and thank you all out there for watching. And we will see each other and come back to a crazy AI girlfriend next game. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Upset.
Bye, everybody.
Indeed.
Good night.